Hey, Forerunner owners, did you know that you have a propeller shaft? Now, what is a propeller shaft? Well, we used to call them drive shafts. And did you know that there's grease zerks on there and it needs to be greased? And if you get your manual out, funny thing, we bought a brand new Oldsmobile Cutlass in 1966, and the manual was just it wasn't, well, I wished I had it with me right now. I got it downstairs, but it wasn't this big. And now you get all this. That's amazing. I find that amazing. Anyway, if you get your maintenance out, maintenance guide, you go to the back, it talks in here about your 20,000 miles, what you're supposed to do. Then it says additional maintenance items. You inspect the ball joints and all that stuff. And then it gets down here and it says right there, I don't know if you can read it or not, but I'll read it for you. Lubricate propeller shaft at 20,000 miles. Then it has a little 4 behind it. And if you go over here, here's the 4. And the 4 says, back off a little bit, includes operating on roads which road salt has been adopted. All right. Or somewhere on there it tells about if you're in dirty conditions, like out on the trails, which, duh, it's a Forerunner. That's what you bought it for, to be out on the trails. But I look for the propeller. And this car don't have a propeller. So I don't know why the Japanese decided to call this a propeller shaft when actually it's more commonly known as a drive shaft. But anyway, the recommended is that if you're out in the trails, every 5,000 miles, you grease the propeller shaft. Now, there's zerks for the U-joints, and you're to grease those until the grease squirts out. And then there's zerks for the spline, where the two shafts go together like this, where one goes in the transmission and one goes in the differential. And the front one gets only 2 squirts, and the back one gets 3 or 4 squirts, and it won't squirt out. Now, the reason you don't just keep pumping until you can't pump anymore is that grease won't compact, and that's supposed to slide back and forth. It's like water. You can't compress water. And so it'll stop the movement if you over grease it, okay? But the zerk part on the U-joints, why you want to do that until you see it squirt out. So you're putting fresh grease in and squirting out the old. The only other thing is you want to be sure to clean off the little grease zerks real well, because you don't want to squirt any dirt inside. Now, I'm not going to show you how to do that. In fact, I'll put a link down below. Guys, it's got it up on a lift where you can see it a lot better. Now, I will get underneath here and just kind of give you a preview of what it's like. Now, one other tip. They use a special lithium grease, Toyota does, to do this. And you need to use a grease that's compatible with it. If you don't use a grease that's compatible, one of 2 things will happen. It'll either cake, and it actually crumble and fall out, the grease will, and you lose lubrication. Or if it's the incompatibility is the different kind, why then the 2 greases mix, and the oil that's actually the lubrication inside the binder leaks out and drips away, and then you don't have any lubrication. So it's important that you use either the lithium grease, and I'll put on the link below what that's supposed to be. Use the lithium grease that they used, or you use one that you know is compatible with what they used. That's very important. It's not like the old days where you just bought some grease and stuffed up your grease gun and shot it in. It's not that way anymore. So let's get under here and I'll show you just exactly what we're looking at here. I would get in on the wrong side. All right, there it is, as you can see in the video. And there's a total of 6 zerts. One for the spline in front and one for the spline in back. That part's the spline. You can see that slides to and fro. And then there's 4 other zerts. 3 in the front and 3 in the back for the U-joints. Okay? So you got a total of 6. Now, here's the thing, guys. I took my Toyota into the dealer for an oil change, which cost me $100. You can imagine that. Oil change is $100. And they didn't even grease the zerts. I don't know whether you got to tell them specifically you want that done or what. I was just amazed. That used to be standard on an oil change. If you got an oil change, they grease the car as well if he does a total lube job. And I thought, man, that is strange. So I got to check it online, and every guy, I watched 3 different videos, I won't say every, but the 3 videos I watched where they were showing you how to do this, every one of them said the same thing. The dealer didn't do this. One guy had, I don't know, like 50,000 miles, and it had never been done. Now, he didn't realize it needed to be done, and neither did I, because most modern cars don't have any grease zerts anymore. They're all sealed bearings and all sealed into, little rubber caps, and you keep using it until finally it wears out and you replace them. But this thing actually has zerts, which is a good thing, meaning that if you keep it greased, it'll probably never wear out. But it's a bad thing if you're counting on the dealer to do it. You're going to have to ask specifically, and he'll probably charge you another $25, $30 to do it, which is ridiculous. So anyway, that's what it is. And like I said, I'll have a link below where a guy will show you how to do this. And I'm laying down here on the floor. Anyway, that's just a little tip about keeping your 4Runner in running condition. And remember, if you're out on the trails, you need to do this with every oil change. If you're not, about every 15, 20,000 miles, unless you got salt on the roads. So, I appreciate you for watching. Thank you very much. And remember, subscriptions are free. And if you like this video, you found it useful and informative, why, give me a thumbs up. My channel is not big. I just crossed the line for 800 subscribers. I'd like to have 1,000 just for the kicks of it. It's non-monetized, obviously. And I just appreciate you all, and I hope you find this interesting. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you on the rebound. Be safe out there.